Welcome back to the wonderful, wonderful world of Fantasy General. What to do, what to do. Forest, fells, forest. Our decision to avoid all forests has worked so far, so I think I'll avoid them too. So the Duskill fells. I also think that I will mainly try to go straight for the Shadow Dark Citadel and end the game. There might be some special things on one of these sides if we go there, but frankly I don't see how it could make any kind of real difference. It's again probably something you get a buff that gives you, like the one we got that makes movement through forest a bit easier, which is nice, but certainly not worth playing a ton of extra missions. So the Duskill fells. The Shadow Lord has dispatched a phalanx of troops into the Duskill fells in an attempt to divide your forces and cause as much delay as possible while he mobilizes his army. Such delays will be costly indeed, and a swift end to this threat is paramount. Generic map, yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't really give a damn what the sides here are. Seems that there's no river here. There's one there, but otherwise this is a rough terrain, forest and clear terrain. So actually quite nice. One of the random sites is already owned by us, so we can't loot it. Sucks. Legionaries sort of amuse me. They wouldn't have been any good in Parthia, and that was 2 continents ago. Under threat. Spread these guys around. "15 turns, that's not a lot of time, especially against these enemies, where we can't just steamroll them. Ooh, Zeppelin. Heroic single unit, a single entity, mortal bombardier, mechanical attack. Very good indeed. Enemies mostly aren't too bad. Okay, we need to move our scouting units. It's a significant force, but not great. This can't be all he has. But it will mean we'll try to take this city. Thing here, I'm not worried. We don't have a huge amount of time. Okay, yeah. That's not it. Just city defense forces. I'm inclined to commit a lot of forces. We'll try to basically neutralize the entire threat in a turn or two, instead of having it drag around for a long time by committing a proportional force. We'll just try to crush the enemy as fast as possible. Yeah, we will be moving in a single mass, at least trying to, as much as possible. I don't want to split the army up at this point anymore. Not in any major way, at least. Not until we've found and destroyed the main enemy army in that mission. If it's a must to finish the objective or the mission, that's another matter naturally, but generally speaking, no to splitting up your armies at this point. Just isn't worth it, and it causes a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble with potentially having to reload the game, things like that, so we'll play it safe. Ooh. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Perception. That was close. That was very close. We're about to lose the spearmen. Luckily there was no one blocking our escape routes. Yeah, where are they? Where are they? This is nothing. This is at best half. But I think it's closer to 1/3 of our overall force. This can't be it. They're holding back on us. We need to get rid of most of these. Need to get rid of you. You can rest. Oh. We need to locate the main army. Oh, there it is. That looks a lot better. It's not too bad either, but in combination with that, it's probably about the same size we are, which should indicate that that's pretty much it. Should we attack? Gosh. So we need to start moving north. Quick save. Yeah, I'm not gonna take a step of heating. I don't like to do this, that a lot of things happens in a single turn. Monks of Mayo rise up and attack, yeah. Dangerous heavy infantry suddenly appears. Or do you want to take this staff of healing? Staff of Winds, it seems like this is some sort of a staff shrine. I don't think we have magical crossbow. Do we have any use from magical crossbows? I don't know. I'm taking it because I don't want to keep reloading this. For sure we can find a use for it. We'll give it to a general if nothing else, so they have something they can carry with in their hands. We need to attack that light infantry with something. A bit of a problem. Not a huge problem though. I guess we'll prepare troops to receive the enemy units. Not much else we can do here. There's no point moving these to the south either, because there's not enough enemies for them. By the time we'll reach that, the fighting is already over. We can very easily lose our hero units this way. Gatling there. I'm not too concerned about losing those hero units. They're basically useless anyway. Well, useless might not be the correct word, but they're not exactly all that useful. A minor shift to start encountering the Northern Army. Yeah. Moving on. That seems to be confirming that that's the main army. We'll weaken up the Sandmen and then destroy them. Yeah, they're very weak against these skirmish type of units. Well, not very weak since it takes 3 of them to get them to low health, but still. Weak enough. I'm sort of inclined to try to prevent these from moving with the rest of the army there. It'll make things harder to handle. Yeah, he's basically abandoning all these southern areas, which does make quite a bit of sense. Ah, but since we're waiting for the enemy, might as well rest. Yeah, now we're seeing something. They have good units, but their experience levels are way below what we've encountered before. So even though they're tough, we can take them. Sort of spreading around just in case this might spread around. All flying units will be withdrawn to the north immediately. Steam Hawks are a fairly good unit. I think I recall them being sort of a starter unit, not quite perhaps in the first continent, but in the second. You could gain access to them. And they still weren't all that bad. They withstood a couple of attacks from top of the line Sky Hunters. So they have to be quite durable. Mostly minor wounds, nothing serious. Now comes the tough part. Okay, they're buying 3 shield units. There's no real point for us to actually fight over this town. But since this is all about getting enough kills to end this mission, we might as well. Can you attack them? Yes, you can. Hmm. Yeah, I think we can be fairly aggressive. Oh shit. Fighting against light infantry in this kind of terrain is pretty bad. We'll have to go there to prevent further attacks on that. The infantry units. That was pretty bad. That was pretty goddamn bad. And we get a unit there. I know it's a bit risky because he might get forced to surrender, but if we can sort of knock out one or two of these, that shouldn't be a problem. Two, definitely. If we knock out one, we'll just create an opening for a heavy infantry unit to come in and slaughter. We'll have to have some faith in our own army. Those bastards aren't moving anywhere. Tough SOBs. Oh shit. Okay, we do have some units still left in reserve, but I don't think these have any chance of reaching any enemy units. Now we can only box our own units in with these. That's not really good. Targets fine. Okay, it's up to our Sky Hunters now then. Okay, what do we need to do? We need to... Yeah, this isn't enough. But you... Yeah, this definitely isn't good enough. Fairly unimpressive unit as far as their attack power is concerned. We might be able to force the fire wizard to move. Even that was very close. Okay, now the pressure is severely lessened here. And if we can get rid of the fire wizard, it doesn't even further. Monks of Mayo are the only real threat here. Lava warriors aren't bad, but they have already been wounded. Could possibly take care of those guys too. Holy shit, we would suffer 10 casualties. Yeah, the Seekers can handle those guys fairly well, but Lion Dragons? No, not at all. Ooh, that was a... We took gigantic casualties from that. Jesus. Peace. Yeah, this is there's a real good chance that we'll have to load this. The gigantic casualties. The prediction for that fight was basically that it was an even encounter and both would suffer something like 5 casualties at tops. Suffered 8 and half of them were deaths. So a massive casualty on us. Prediction was something like 1 dead. They're breaking our troops. Yeah, there was the heavy hitter. Another heavy hitter. that was funny. Their base light cavalry attacked our base and they did no damage and we killed them all. So that the difference was that they were in the clear terrain on a road and we were in a rough terrain. So yeah, that's pretty funny. We were in a bit of trouble with few units. Now the nightmares are very strong attackers, at least against light cavalry. They're having serious trouble with them. Okay, we captured a couple of towns this turn. Very nice. We removed the threat of them spawning any new units here. So now the enemy really is forced to come directly from north, basically. We'll be doing some extra scouting though, just to make sure. Cavalry is all nice and good, but if you are left alone like that, you're just gonna get slaughtered. Gonna attack or not? Need to rest. Those guys are tough. The hell am I going to attack those? Hello. Okay. We need to think about this a bit. Now they have additional forces incoming, so we can't attack too recklessly. It'll just end up biting us as... What's your magic item? It's a Staff of Confusion. Causes enemies to lose turn. Rest. Yeah, that unit got totally destroyed. Luckily it was a bad, no experience unit to start with, so we don't suffer too bad experience losses there. That's probably the reason why it got wounded so badly anyway. We need to prevent those shadow warriors from resupplying themselves. They're too dangerous. They're totally useless now. I don't want to go there. The risk of getting trapped is very high. They have cavalry, very solid cavalry and light infantry, heavy infantry incoming. So if they might not attack, but there's a good chance that they will. And that's an automatic surrender. So the risk is too big. This is a very solid attack unit though. Much. We won't be able to do much damage in here. I think it's better if we just protect our own units a bit. Be good enough. Yep. Have 3 units left. Yeah. One. Attacking those guys is so goddamn destructive on the unit that does it. Insane. Oh shit, Shadow Dragons, multiple ones. This is an automatic reload. Shit. It's a goddamn miracle if it's not. Valira has 0 chance of surviving 2 Shadow Dragons. But I don't want to sort of give up before it's over. But I think she's dead. Yeah, get to the Shadow Dragons. This is just a pointless waste of time for. Ooh, they didn't attack it. Not yet, at least. Oh, thank God. But basically, we were saved just because the enemy AI chose to not slaughter us. Slaughter us without any chance of surviving. I guess it might not be the enemy is giving us sort of favors. It might be that the enemy is playing for the win, for example. So the goal for him isn't to kill a single unit from my side to force me to load or force me to suffer casualties in the long run. Is to try to win each and every scenario. So just because there's one vulnerable unit doesn't mean that it makes any kind of sense to try to attack it. That's the natural way I'm thinking, because that's the most damaging thing for me at the moment. That might not be the computer's way of thinking. There is always a chance that the computer is letting you win or avoiding, at least, because you can make a computer win against most players in many games if you want to. I wouldn't call, no, should I even call that cheating? Because you have to program a computer to, for example, to shoot. Have to program it some kind of limitations. If you want to play an FPS game and you can make the computer opponent win against the player every time quite easily. It's hard. The hard thing to do is to make it sort of seem like a fair fight. Get the proper challenge level. You'd have to look very closely to a game to figure out what it's doing. It's hard to say in these games, did it do a dumb thing or not, because it avoided attacking my hero unit there. So we can force a lot of kills. I do like our trail runners quite a bit. What can you do? Cast an evil eye. I need to see if there's any more reinforcements coming. Not immediately. We still have quite a few troops left to move. There's a site right on top of us. Shrine. This last shrine. I'm sort of at least tempted to go for it. But I try to delay this just for the pleasure of finding another cache of gold or something equally useful. I think the enemy will retreat by leaving B at the moment. At least most of their units will. So what I could do is move a little bit forward, but leave their units alive. Then go for the shrine, and then after that finish their enemy troops. Yeah. I'll accept the surrender. I don't want to drag these out when they're over already. The shattered remains of the Shadowlord's phalanx throw themselves at your feet in a pathetic display of fear. You recover 250 gold from their wagons. Okay, this is getting a little bit interesting. Pinion Plains, the Cracked Spine Mountains. These seems like totally pointless places to go. Valley of Flaming Tongues. Okay. Large Rock Furnace. Isolation Gorge. We get anything of interest? I don't recall. Maybe we got a bow or critical crossbow or something. Ooh, got it. These should have all javelins. Crossbow. Yeah, probably him. Critical crossbow. Might as well keep him. Just a note on the name that he has it. That's just fine. Still getting our siege engines. Pit cannons and wall blasters. I guess wall blasters would be the better weapon. Do we have any use for it? We certainly don't have the room for it. So this time 5 options. I'm not quite sure. I won't go to these two. This seems like the Valley of Flaming Tongue seems like a good way if we want to burn to the castle, but I'm slightly intrigued about these two. Pinion Plains and Cracked Spine Mountains, because they seem to be totally out of way places. Yeah. That decision doesn't have to be made now, so I won't.